You can't build a house on a faulty foundation. Okay. And I think that's what I would share concerning this. It may be tough now, it may be bleak, it may be tough, but believe me, I've gone through it, and I know what it feels like to get a lot of rejection emails. I know what it feels like to get a lot of "we'll get back to you," and till 2029 they've not gotten back to you. I know what that feels like. It can be very, very, very discouraging. But I've seen God work out purpose from pain, and stick with God and you'll see it through.
Thank you so much. Hello everyone, I am Akomolafe Ayomide Bochisala, and I'm welcoming you back to another episode of the Faith Casts. Not forgetting that this is a podcast that is organized by the DL Community Corpus Fellowship. So thank you for joining us today. So here with me today, like I mentioned in the last episode, the previous episode, that I'll be having an amazing resource person today with us. And here with me is a man who is a crooner of honoring God and inspiring others. So from that, you can always detect that this is a man of God and also a career person. With me today is Mr. Ife. So, Mr. Ife, I would like you to introduce yourself to the viewers in the house. I'd like to
Sure. Thank you so much, Ayo, and it's a huge honor to be here, and I'm grateful for the invite. To the viewers, my name is Ife Abibola Lulesi, and I'm an alumnus of the Corpus Fellowship here in Lagos. I'm currently an AI software engineer, and I also love God a whole lot. And I think my life at this point is focused on honoring God and also inspiring others by my work. And it's an honor to be here. Looking forward to the conversation.
Thank you so much, sir. So you can see that I am on my khaki. It is to throw questions. Maybe you're there, you have questions that have been bothering you as a core member, a serving core member, even an ex-core member. You can always draw from the wealth of knowledge we are giving out here. So I'll be asking Mr. Ife certain questions, so many questions that borders around the NYSC journey and even after the NYSC journey. So join me. Do not forget to like and subscribe if you have not. And also invite your friends, comment. You could even tell us topics we can discuss on. So let's continue the journey. So Mr. Ife, to start with, I'd like you to just give us an overview of how your NYSC experience was, like the things that happened, the things that you passed through, the challenges and all. Could you just give us an overview of them?
Sure. I think my NYSC experience was a turning point for me. Coming out of university, I had a lot of pursuits, a lot of interests that I wanted to pursue, a lot of aspirations as well. And at that point, I wanted to pursue all of them at the same time, but my NYSC year actually gave me clarity, right? So sometimes when I'm thinking about it, when I reflect, I think about the NYSC year as a buffer period, the point of gaining clarity, right? So I served as a core member here in Lagos in a tech company, and through that journey, at the beginning, I wanted to pursue my photography interests as well as my music interests with my tech interests, right? And I'm sure that many people watching this, you have multiple passions you want to pursue. But thankfully, I was posted to a tech company where I served through my NYSC period. And during that period, I kind of gained clarity, direction as to what to do coming out of school. And it was then that it made sense through that journey, through that process, that it would be the best for me to focus on my tech career and follow that through. And then maybe further down the line, I can pick up my other interests by the side. And thankfully, see where God has brought us today.
So basically, today we are here to discuss on life after NYSC. But if you're not an ex-core member, you're still a serving core member, you can still learn from this. So, Mr. Ife, I would like for you to explain to us how it was for you. I mean, your career journey through NYSC up till now. How has it been for you?
My career journey, right?
Yes.
Okay, so first thing I would say is I think this episode is actually super, super important for those who are currently serving, because you don't prepare for the battlefield on the day of battle, right? You prepare way ahead. And that's the first. My career started, it goes back to university. So I studied computer science, and I was really interested in programming, coding. I began coding back in school, even before I began my university degree, right? And for my IT, of course, I served in a company, and that was where I got introduced to industrial coding and industrial software engineering practice.
Wow.
Yeah. But thankfully, I also served here in Lagos. And for my career journey, the company that I served at through my NYC period, I was really focused on career excellence. I was focused on building my skills. There's this challenge that many of us have during our NYC period, right? Coming out of university, we want to make money, right? Because we do need it. We want to
Money
build.
is important.
It's very right. I want to build a name for ourselves very, very quickly. However, we tend to do that at the expense of building depth, building capacity in that which we want to do in the long term. Thankfully, I had a couple of people who, spoke sense to me at that time, and I remember one of my mentors, one of my seniors, telling me that, look, Ife, at this stage of your life, don't focus about the money, don't focus on making it quickly, right? Instead, focus on building depth, building the skills that will make you valuable. There's this thing I often say, that you cannot be valuable and money won't follow you. And that was the beginning of my career journey. I focused on building my skills a lot. I was working a whole lot during that period on my core, which is software engineering, right? And thankfully that paid off well, because that organization retained me after my NYSC. And I think I was quite successful in that organization. I eventually grew to work on one of their top 3 projects.
Wow.
After NYSC, and it was quite something for me. So that was my journey so far.
That's really amazing.
Okay.
So, for an ex-com member out there,
Yeah.
who is still trying to navigate life, what do you think are the challenges they are likely to face? Out there. When it comes to building a portfolio in this career path after NYC.
That's a very, very important question. And I think at this point, I would want to differentiate between a career and a job, right? I think that a career is what you want to do, right? Which is, you are in charge of your career, you own your career, you determine the direction it goes, right? Whereas a job is something that you're paid to do, right? Maybe a set of actions, a set of activities that you're paid to do. And your job is owned by your employer, right? So what that means, if you look at it carefully, is your employer, I would say, has no interest in your career, particularly. They are more interested in your job than your career. And so you need to pay attention to your career. Now, seeing that you own your career, you need to determine the direction it goes, right? So first of all, you need to have an idea of what you want to be doing in the near future, in the far future as well. During my NYSC, I listened to someone, and he spoke about this concept of thinking ahead in the far future. What do you want to achieve? And I took some time out during my service here, and I wrote down on paper, right? In the next 50 years, by the time my life here on earth is done, what do I want to be said concerning me? And I took my time to write this down a lot. It was a very, very tough experience for me, because thinking from that perspective in time is something that will challenge you and make you dig into your core. But that brings clarity as you go through that journey. And when I penned down those things, I saw, okay, this is where I want to get to in the future. What do I do to achieve this? Okay, I need to go through my software engineering practice. I need to be very excellent. I need to do this, X, Y, Z. That clarity, I think, is something that a lot of core members miss out of. Right, and so they complete their university education, they complete their service year, they are done, and then no clarity. And when there's a lack of clarity, it breeds confusion and it breeds frustration. All right, and then it now makes you want to do just anything to get by. Okay, and then pick up a job, and then let your job define what your career should be. Right now, that happens a lot, and sometimes some people manage to get clarity off there. But I think it will be really, really helpful for those who are still in their service here to take out that time to reflect as you're teaching in that public school, as you are, working in that organization you are posted to your PPA. take some time to find out what kind of life do I envision for myself in the next 50 years, in the next 20 years, the next 5 years. When you have those things, it doesn't have to be super clear. You don't have to get everything detailed, but just an idea. It really helps in giving you clarity and shaping the direction of your life, right? That's one thing. Then the second one I would mention would be this in terms of furthering your education. And I would speak to that from the point of a skill gap. I think that many people come out of NYSC, many core members, they finish the service here, but they are not ready for the job market still. And that is because they've not taken time to invest in themselves, which again ties into the first point I mentioned about having some form of clarity as to what you want to do. Okay. And then there's a point of balancing your clarity with demand, balancing your purpose, your intention, your perceived future with demand. This is what I want to achieve. This is what I'm passionate about. Is it in demand? Is it something I can live off of? Okay, is this something that I can build a family from? Is this something I can build a life from? Those are very, very heavy questions that need to be answered. But going down that journey, you find out that many people, because they don't get a job immediately, they want to go and do their masters, right? And then, someone...
I'm still coming to that.
Masters, right? I think someone said it that people go to do masters just to push back the date of unemployment, right? Which is quite the truth, because after the masters, what next, right? We still come back to that initial question. On that point, I would say that instead of going for a master's immediately, take some time to find clarity. What do I want to do? Do I want to start a business? Okay. Perhaps you studied sociology in school or geography. If you do a master's in that course, what are the prospects of getting a job here in Nigeria? Right, that is one. Or in whatever location you may be listening to this from, because this doesn't apply to just strictly core members. It applies to people at this point in life, right? Exactly. So I think that you would want to take some time to go down their career a bit, all right? Get a job or practice what you intend to do. Find out, is this what I would love to do in the long term? Is this something profitable? When you're there for about 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and you build some stature there, then you can go for master's, further your education. Then you'd have work experience, right? And at that point in time, you'd be able to get a job with more leverage after your master's, right? And then the third point, just before I end this, would be the part of you don't have experience, you're out of NYSC, you need to get a job, but to get a job, you need experience, and to get experience, you get a job, and then you're like, what can I do? But I think that, back to the first, what I shared earlier, that you can be valuable and money will follow you. People pay for value, right? People don't pay for your degree. People don't care if you graduated with the first class. I was able to accept that fact early on. So even though I graduated with the first class, but I'm not basing my life off that. I'm basing my life off the value that I've created through the sleepless nights working on honing my craft, which is software engineering, right? I think that many people do not focus on their skills. They don't focus on building value in themselves. And because of that, when they come out, they are unemployable, all right? No one wants to pay just because you have a first class. They want to pay because you can solve their problems. And it is skills that solve problems. So those are 3 things that I'll just point out here. Challenges faced coming out of the service. I hope that answers the question.
So thank you so much. That was a really amazing. It's really give answers to the questions. So I would love to ask you, what is the place of skill in being employable? I mean, that is after NYSC, the place of skill in being employable after NYSC.
There are a lot of ways to look at this, but what is a skill? Right. I think you need to answer that question first. What does it mean to be employable? That's another question you need to answer. All right. Let's put it in this perspective, and I'll speak from my industry, in the tech industry, but it's applicable to other industries. In my industry, to be employable means you need to be skilled at certain technologies. Okay. You need to be able to write code efficiently using industry tools today. I won't mention them because it's a bit technical, but when you're skilled in those tools, you're skilled in those technologies, and you can prove it, then companies would want to hire you. Companies would be in demand, right? And so the first thing is this: when you're choosing the skills you want to develop, you want to be sure that you've done your research. For the career you want to build, this skill I want to go into, will it get me to my destination? For example, if you want to go into software engineering, the skill of fashion designing will not be helpful to you. And so it would do you a disservice. Exactly, to do you a disservice if you learn that skill. That's an example, right? Um, Similarly, that's quite far apart, right? But in the skill of software engineering, in the Nigerian ecosystem today, the most prevalent roles will be front-end development, back-end development, and mobile. Okay, if you want to go into those roles, you need to find out what tools are they using. All right, what skill sets are people who are thriving in these roles? What does their skill sets look like? What does their toolbox? What does it look like? What does it comprise of? All right. When you do that research, you'll be able to find out, oh, I need to learn X, I need to learn Y, I need to focus on Z, and then that would help you a lot. So when you've done that initial research and you found the skill sets that are in demand today and also in the future, then you focus on them. All right. Time will fail me to talk about the skill matrix, where you break it down into 4 and you find out which skills would help me to be employable and which skills will help me to achieve my career. There are skills like that, all right? If you can find a skill that will help you to thrive in your job and also to fulfill your career, that is the safe zone, right? There are some skills that are needed in your career, but they're not needed in your job as at now. There are some skills that you need to thrive in your job, but may not really tie into your career. And then there's a fourth quadrant, skills that you don't need them in your job, you don't need them in your career, then why are you doing them, right? And unfortunately, many core members today have a lot of skills that neither tie to their job, neither tie to their career prospects, and so they are unemployable. So just to wrap it up, employers are looking for people who can solve their problems, people who are skilled. That is very, very important. People who can add value to them, and value comes from a place of mastery in your skills.
Thank you so much. That was a brilliant answer to the question. So I would like to ask, how did NYC shape your career paths? For you, how was it like?
Yeah, so I would say that through NYC, that was my first major break into the tech industry, right? I remember serving in that company somewhere in Ikeja, and I was an intern. NYC is like, copper is like the title, right? But you be treated like an intern. So I remember going there, and thankfully, the team I was added to, they had a project they were working on. I've always been a driven person, and so when I get to work, I'm always putting in the work. Like, I'll go and meet my mentor. This is what I've learned so far. I'm having challenges doing this. Is there something for me to work on? And sometimes it's really tough to get his attention because he's also very, very busy, right? But because of my persistence, he'll make out time. And I was also very, very diligent on my part as well. I'm not going to just ask you to answer questions I haven't put the effort to find an answer to initially. So he would say that, oh, this young man is putting in the effort, right?
Mm-hmm.
He has the drive. He's not saying he's coming to waste my time. If I invest in this young man, I'm going to see results, right? Which he did. And so after a while, initially I was meeting him like almost every time, but after a while, I was really confident in my shoes, and I could solve problems without having to reach out to him. I could fend for myself. And when that value came, the tasks I was given were increasingly significant. And eventually, even during my NYSC year, I was able to contribute to key projects in that team, key deliverables for the team. I contributed to it, right? And even during my service year, it got to a point where we were a team of 5 working on this project. But eventually they moved 3 of them away from the project, and it was just me and someone else. Exactly. And as a core member, I'm doing the work of 3 people.
Wow.
And that was the only project I was working on at that time, right? So that was quite a tough experience, but that was what built me, all right? And it built value, it built confidence for the leaders in the organization, and they said, okay, Ife can cope, even I can handle this, right? So I think that those seasons really helped me a lot. It was very, very tough, to be honest. Many times I'm like, what is going on? And all those thoughts, all those negative thoughts and all, but thankfully I had good counsel. And going through that process, it really shaped me. Coming after NYSC, I was retained, and I got to work on even harder projects alone. Now, I didn't even have someone I was working with. But that NYSC period, it really helped me to develop my skill. It taught me how to work under immense pressure.
Yeah, you're like digressing into the lessons you learned.
Yeah. But let me just pause there. Yeah.
So that is like the next question.
Oh, beautiful.
I would like to ask, what were the lessons? I mean, there are sometimes that certain phases of our lives we learn some lessons and they stay with us. They don't In fact, you get to see or get to understand that this same lesson at every point or at every crossroad, you get to look at it and still use it to apply to certain things in your life. So, what was that major lesson you learned during your service year that you stayed with you and is still with you now?
There are a lot of them. I would mention three. First one, integrity. Second one is exposure. And then the third one is competence. Okay. The first one, which is integrity. After finishing so during my service year, just like I shared earlier, I was working on some projects and I was doing well there. After my service year, one of the leaders in the organization, he reached out to me and told me that, Ife, I'm moving into this very critical project. And I knew that project is something that is very, very critical, right? And I was like, I couldn't put it together. Why would they? I just literally finished my NYSC. It's not up to 3 months after my NYSC.
Like you're not the boss.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. There are seniors ahead of
Just
me
a
in the
small
organization.
boy.
What is going on, right? But then he called me to the director's office one day and then let me know that they're bringing me in, not necessarily because I have the technical competence. That was a factor, but they're bringing me in because for this project, they need someone they can trust on it. And that was the point of integrity. And that made me realize, wow, the times I spent being faithful on those tiny things I was working on, they counted, right? That's the first one, integrity there. Because of time, I could go deeper in that, but the second one is mastery. I took my time a lot during my service year to be the best at what I did. I met other people on that team, but I can tell you before my service year, I became the go-to person whenever they had the challenges, right? And how did I achieve that? At work, I had this learning culture. So I wasn't just doing, I was also learning. And I was seeking to understand what are the fundamental principles behind these things. All right. Now, what I'm saying applies to my craft, but it's applicable across industries as well. Don't just do things because your boss says you should do it, right? Do it and then seek to have an understanding, right? It's called uncovering the black box.
Yes.
Understand what is hidden underneath this. When you have that deep understanding, it gives room for creativity and imagination. Then you can bring out things that nobody has seen because you understand the underlying principles. And that is what brings mastery. I took my time to hone my skills, and even after, so this is how my day would be then. I'll come to the office, spend about the whole day, 8 to 5, like 9 hours working. On the way home, I'll be on my phone watching a video about when I get back home, I'll put in like 1 hour, 2 hours. Exactly, right? So it was very, very tight for me, but that pressure, pressure builds.
Of course, you're enjoying
So,
it now.
well, so that's the second point, which is mastery, right? And then the third one is exposure. I think that many people lack confidence in their skills because they've not been exposed to what is out there. Take, for example, when God wanted to give the blessing to Abraham, he told Abraham, look at the stars. Can you count them? Why did God do that? He was trying to expand the scope of thinking of Abraham by using the stars as a point of reference. And he's saying, look, can you count the stars? Now, they'll be like, wow, I can't count the stars. And he's saying, I will make your seed like this. Now, he's able to relate to something, and then that builds faith in him. It builds, oh wow, it builds a future, a picture of the future. This is how tomorrow is going to look like, right? Many people today are just focused on their here and their now. It's referred to as eagle's vision, right? Just focused on this and there's no exposure, right? How do you gain exposure? Events, right? Events that speak to your profession, that speak to your industry. Attend them. Meet other people. Listen to other people speak. Let them share their experiences with you. When you do that, you would discover a lot you do not know. What does that do for you? It makes you know more than what is within your circle, right? Perhaps your industry, organization. You're able to see this is what is going on in other places, and they can bring in more value there, right? That is exposure. Another thing that exposure does for you is makes you know your standing across the industry. So you might be the best in your current organization, but exactly, and you do not want to be that, because if you're a local champion, you are boxed to just that place, which means you cannot grow. All right, and if you cannot grow within time, would fade away.
Mastery, competence,
Exposure.
and exposure. So, as a core member out there, I hope you are getting knowledge from this. You're getting understanding. You are becoming wiser. You're becoming wiser because the pressure outside is not smiling. Oh, the rate of unemployment outside is not smiling at anyone. So any skill you can hone now, please just do it. Do it like you've heard Mr. Ife now. So I would like you, sir, to just wrap up this. Just give your little advice to core members out there, 7 core member and ex-core members that are still trying to navigate through life, and also 7 core members that are currently their PPA and they think there is nothing good that they can amount to. Please, can you just encourage us, advise us, give us before we round up? Thank you.
Sure. So earlier I mentioned integrity, exposure, mastery, competence, right? I would say that the service here is a window of opportunity for you to discover yourself. Many people go through university without doing that. And the service here provides another window of opportunity for us here in Nigeria to discover ourselves. For those who are currently serving, I would encourage you to think beyond your locality.
Think
Yeah.
beyond your locality.
Yeah. And that brings room for exposure, right? Go online, build your online portfolio. LinkedIn has been a very, very vital tool for me in building my career so far. And so I'd encourage you to just put yourself out there, go on LinkedIn, find out what are people saying in your industry, what are people saying from other parts of the world. Think globally. When you think globally, it empowers you to aspire, it empowers you to envision what tomorrow can look like, even though you can't see it manifest today. That's the first thing. And then as you're doing that, also focus on building your skills. Focus on building yourself. Nobody will do that for you. And if you do not build yourself, your current organization, your PPA, they would have no reason to retain you. All right? That is true. Then for those who are, maybe going through, my PPA did not retain me, what do I do? I think that waiting seasons are also very important. Okay? I think that waiting seasons give you some what I would refer to as buffer, some time to actually discover, to push yourself beyond, right? During a waiting season, you don't want to literally just sit down and wait in a waiting season. In a waiting season where you're in between jobs, you'd want to ensure that you're up and doing. You want to ensure that you are working even harder than you are when you are unemployed, right? And working towards your big break. And in all of this, of course, I think that it's important for you to carry God in this journey.
Yes.
For me, looking back so far, it was 2023 that my POP ceremony happened, and that's just about 2 years, right? And in 2 years, a lot has happened, right? Of course, there's still a lot more I'm looking forward to, but I would say that God writes the best stories. And if you carry God in your journey, as we often say in local parlance, follow who know road, right?
Yes.
If God does know the road and you're following him, you're not going to miss out, all right?
Of course.
And that was what helped Abraham a lot. The Bible says, look up to Abraham. I called him alone and I blessed him, right? So if you're following God faithfully, he's going to lead you in the right direction. But you can't follow God if you don't have a relationship with him. And that brings in the place of salvation, the place of giving your life to him, the place of following God, not just because your parents said you should follow God. Following God, not just because people around you are following God, but find God for yourself, right? Find God for yourself. And it's from that place of finding God for yourself that you discover who you are. Because you are created for a purpose. You are created for a reason. And if you can't find that reason, every other thing you're going to do is not really going to amount to much at the end of the day. John Maxwell talks about success and significance, right? Success is what you do for yourself. Significance is what you do for others. And in all of those two things, success and significance, if there's no God factor there, it's going to get burnt, right? Either now or in the future. You can't build a house on a faulty foundation. Okay. And I think that's what I would share concerning this. It may be tough now, it may be bleak, it may be tough, but believe me, I've gone through it, and I know what it feels like to get a lot of rejection emails. I know what it feels like to get a lot of "we'll get back to you," and till 2029 they've not gotten back to you. I know what that feels like. It can be very, very, very discouraging. But I've seen God work out purpose from pain, and stick with God and He'll see you through.
Thank you so much. Viewers in the house, I hope you've learned one or two from all that we've said. And this episode has been an amazing one. It has been a beautiful one, a wonderful one. And Mr. Ife, thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you
Aya.
so much. You can really resonate with what's actually going on in the hearts of many out there, the hearts of many of the core members out there. And I'm so grateful to have you here. I'm grateful to God to have you here. I pray that God bless you,
Amen.
keep you,
Amen.
and hold your hands and walk you through. So when next we'll be inviting Mr. Ife to our faith cast. It will be internationally like that. Because I get in
Amen.
there.
Amen.
In there. So if you're out there, you have questions you'd like to ask us, please use the comment section, write out your questions, topics you'd like for us to discuss. Please kindly write it. So I remain Akomolafe Ayomide Bujisola, your host for today's Fitcast episode. Thank you so much for joining us. God bless you.